Hey guys, what's happening? Today is May 30th, 2019, and in this video we're going to be discussing this boat crash that occurred last night in Budapest, Hungary, in which we're being told 7 South Koreans were killed, with an additional 21 currently missing. On this video, I discuss numerology with a special focus on the language of Gematria, which is the ancient practice of coding numbers into words. This traces back to the ancient Hebrew and Greek alphabets, which doubled as both letters and numbers, and it appears that this code is well and alive in today's current 26-letter English language. On the screen, you see your first 4 base ciphers, and when you pay attention to the numeric values of names, words, phrases, you find some alarming alignments with dates on the calendar that should truly make you question your reality, both as it's perceived through the mainstream media and in life in general. But for the sake of this video, we're going to focus on the numerology of this story and discuss how there may be something more to this than just a random boat accident. Once again, as you read the article, you'll find that all the necessary precautions before the boat took off were followed, just like these plane crashes we've been seeing, where it's hard to tell what's going wrong, and could it be sabotage, could it be something else that's really happening? So I want to focus on today's date numerology, the date on which this story is making headline news. In fact, in South Korea, this crash happened on May 30th. It was still May 29th in the rest of the world. Today's date has primary numerology of 74. This is achieved by adding 5 plus 30 plus 20 plus 19. This story is about a tourist boat, which does have 74 gematria, involved in a boat accident, which also sums to 74. And this story comes out of Budapest, Hungary, which equals 74 in reduction with the S exception. Now, you'll also notice that today's date numerology sums to 47. We call this the life lesson number, where the year is broken down into individual digits. By the way, the word drown in the alphabetic order also has this 74 value. As far as the 47 is concerned, the name of the river that this crash occurred in is Danube, which is 47 in the alphabetic order. This river cuts through downtown Budapest. Budapest, also 47 in reverse reduction. And a big focus on this story is life jackets, as far as why everyone drowned. It says here in the headline they weren't wearing life jackets. Well, that also gives us a value of 47. And check out the coordinates of Budapest. See how it's on the 47th parallel north over there in Europe. Now, 47 and 74, these are significant numbers in numerology. We're going to talk about Freemasonry a little bit. I'd like to point out how the word Masonic has this value of 74. This is also the gematria of killing. 74, a number we commonly see attributed in stories about killing. Killing also with the 47 gematria with the K exception. 74 and 47, just like today's date numerology. Now, on the Masonic compass, you see the emblem here on the left side of the screen. This compass is set to 47 degrees. And of course, the compass is the tool that's used. Okay, stream complete, huh? Oh, brother. Okay, so I lost connection there for a second. YouTube is telling me the stream resumed, so I'm going to keep going, assuming that everything is working again. Sorry about that, guys. As soon as I open my mouth about Freemasonry, hey? Anyway, we talked about 47 being the value of the circle. In Greek, circle equals 740. So this 7447, very important number. Think about how the number 4, consider the number of foundation. Foundation equals 47. And think about how 7 is the 4th prime number. In fact, in Gematria, both 4th and prime equals 74 in the reverse order. So we talked about 47 and how significant this is. And I'll tell you where this is going in a second. Now, 47 is a prime number. That would be the 15th prime number. According to the chat, there's a lot of question marks. So I don't know if this is still streaming or not. And I think I might have to restart this. I should probably restart it anyways, because at this point the video is pretty much butchered. All right. Okay, sounds like it's streaming. Just saw a lot of question marks, got confused. Anyway, back to the number 47, the 15th prime number. Think about how the 15th letter of the alphabet is the letter O, or a circle. In fact, when you write out the number 15th as it's spelled, it sums to 150 in the reverse alphabetic order. Today's date, May 30th, happens to be the 150th day of the year. Hungarian equals 150. That's where this story is coming from, Hungary. The word pi in Sumerian Gematria also summing to 150. Of course, this cipher multiplying the alphabetic order times 6. Now, when we're talking about circles and pi, it's important to understand the significance of the number 227. On a Windows keypad, Alt plus 227 gives you the pi symbol. And there's a reason for this. If you divide 22 by 7, you get 3.14, the first 3 digits of pi. And using the alphabetic order, 22 divided by 7, as it's spelled out, gives us 314 in the alphabetical order. And North and South Korea have always been used in these circle rituals. Check out how North and South Korea sums to 227 in the alphabetic order. Also with prime numbers, it sums to 722. 227 is also the ordinal value of the nations of Hungary and South Korea when you add them together. Also notice the 83, like the circle. And then in the reverse order, boat accident. Also 227. We saw the 74 earlier. The reverse value also tying in. And of course, the flags of North and South Korea both containing the circle in the middle. This is no mistake. The word Korea equals 50, just like the word circle. Now, what I also talk about on this channel, of course, circles, numerology, this is all very significant stuff, but why is it significant? I believe this all points to the eclipse code. And in my videos, I always talk about how the dates on which significant news events occur seem to always be related to total solar eclipses. And of course, total eclipses, rare events, only occurring about 7 times a decade. Talking about solar eclipses only. And think about how an eclipse is an intersection of the 2 largest circles in the sky, the sun and the moon. The word eclipse has the same numeric values as circles, 69, 33, and 120. Now pay special attention to the 33. Today's date, May 30th, is exactly 33 days before the next total solar eclipse. And to make this more interesting, 33 sums to 156 and 66. These are the same values as May 30th, today's date, 156.66. 33 days before the eclipse, which sums to 33, on a date that has matching gematria with 33. So, the news couldn't help themselves. They told us that 33 South Koreans were on board. How appropriate, 33. Well, what I want to point out is how South Korea also has this value of 137. 137, the 33rd prime number. And this 137 is special for another other reason. The phrase total eclipse sums to 137. But check this out. This is where it gets interesting. Also the 47. We talked about this number, of course. But what about the 187 in the reverse alphabetic order? This 187 is a really significant number. When we talk about Freemasonry, this is one of their values. Ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry gives us the 187. Also the 227, which we also just discussed. Another secret society, the Society of Jesus, has this 187 value. 187, the number of chapters in the Torah. But again, total eclipse, 187. Now, you may remember, not that long ago, we had a major sinking of a ferry, a big ferry disaster in South Korea. This was the MV Seawall. And this happened on April 16th, 2014. Well, if you measure from April 16th to the date of today's news story, look at this. Exactly 1,870 days. And, of course, 187, familiar to many as slang for murder. Section 187 of the California Penal Code. So 1,870 days before or between this ferry disaster here and the one that took place last night in Budapest. And again, even if you look at the date in Hungary that it was, if you include the end date, you still get the 1870. So clearly the eclipse code in play here. But what's interesting, too, is that if you measure from the crash to the eclipse, you also get 34 days. Same thing if you measure from today's date with the end date, 34 days. And look how this number ties into the Gematria as well. We're being told that 7 are dead. 7 dead equals 34 and 47. This occurring on the Danube River, 34 reverse reduction. Budapest equals 34 with the S exception. The word murder also sums to 34. And in English extended gematria, the cipher on the left side of the screen, method that produces much larger numbers, these ciphers here structured similarly to Hebrew gematria, Greek isopsephy. So the word murder, which sums to 34, also sums to 529. And think about the date of this crash in Hungary. It was May 29th, or 5/29. Now let's talk about another significant pair of numbers here. Notice how we're being told that 7 tourists have died and 21 more are missing. And we'll talk more about this 7 in a second. But I want to focus on this 7 dead, 21 missing. In my video yesterday, in which I discussed the numerology of a shooting in Texas, I talked about how when events occur in America, we measure to the governor's birthday and date he took office. Well, in stories that happen internationally, We're talking about the president of the country and the date that he took office. And it seems like the dates that these politicians are sworn in are always significant to these rituals. And look at this: 7 dead, 21 missing. On the left side of your screen, this is the Wikipedia page for János Ader, which I'm probably screwing that up. Ader. Anyways, this is the president of Hungary. And look at the date he took office, May 10th, 2012. Well, if you measure from the date he took office to the date of this crash, it was a span of 7 years and 21 days. Can you believe that? 7 dead, 21 missing? The president in office for 7 years, 21 days? What's interesting is that this also translates to 7 years and 3 weeks. And when the crash occurred in Hungary, it was on a date with 73 numerology. So interesting how both dates seem to be relevant. So they said 7 are dead. They also said 7 people were saved. And this stands out. Boating collision sums to 77. Now, in my video yesterday and many videos before that, I also talked about how the national holidays for these nations that are involved in these news stories are also important. So for South Korea, we have National Liberation Day, celebrated by both the North and South on August 15th. From the date of the news story today to the next August 15th is exactly 77 days. Meanwhile, Hungary's National Day is March 15th, which means the crash was a span of 77 days after their holiday. Looking again at the numerology of the president, I want to point out this guy's birthday of May 9th, 1959. This is like 5959, May 9th, 59. The word Freemasonry in both English and Hebrew sums to 59, but in the alphabetic order, the word accident sums to 59. Now, if you measure from the date this man was born to the date of the crash, we get 720 months. Measuring from the date he took office to the date of the crash was 7 years and 20 days. So we get double 720. And when you see the number 720, might you be thinking of the date of the first moon landing, July 20th, 720? And why do I mention the moon landing, of all things? Well, the president of South Korea, who also assumed office on the date May 10th, just like the president of Hungary, where this crash occurred, this president is named Moon Jae-in. How appropriate. So 720 months old, in office for 7 years and 20 days. 720, the date of the moon landing. Pretty interesting stuff. As far as the dates that these men were sworn in, the 10th of May, like 10/5. Masonry equals 105 in ordinal. Remember, it has a value of 33 in reduction. The 33rd degree said to be the highest in Freemasonry. And isn't it interesting how Budapest boat crash has matching gematria with Freemasonry, 58-147? Just like Freemasonry, 58-147. So there's a couple more things here I placed at the end of the post, but I thought it was pretty interesting, you know. The 74-47 really ties this all in together, as well as the mathematics of the circle, which points to the eclipse. This year's solar eclipse, again, occurring 33 days after today. All right, guys. So I'm going to sign off here. Got to get back to work after lunch here. So, yeah, thanks for jumping in, whether you're watching live or archived. It's always appreciated. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, as all my work is free to share, and you are, in fact, encouraged to do so. All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace, love, and God bless. Adios.